Welcome, Jelly Spoons, to this very special episode of Monday Madness, the very last one of 2024. And what better way to celebrate the end of 2024 than to talk about the best thing to come out of 2024, which was, of course, the finale part of Epic the Musical, hence the Odysseus cosplay. I haven't cosplayed Odysseus yet, and he is unashamedly my favourite character from the entire thing, and that was a crying shame that I had not cosplayed my favourite character yet. I have done the Prophet, I have done Apollo, I have done Hermes, and it was about time that I did my favourite character. So here we are. I have been filming very angsty TikToks, and now I'm here to talk to you guys. Let's get into part number 1. What about Epic the Musical?
What do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for?
Essentially, in one word, Epic the Musical is, well, epic. It was well named. Epic is simply accurate. The entire thing from start to finish is just freaking phenomenal. I consider myself really, really lucky because I got to join in the Epic fandom just before the CYCLOPS Saga came out. So right early on, I am incredibly lucky this happened because I got to see most of the ride all the way through, seeing the creation process, seeing the behind the scenes, seeing it as it happened, getting in that live excited energy every time we got a saga released. It was genuinely so heartwarming and exciting to be a part of, especially as a fellow creative. I have never created anything quite this huge and impressive before. One day, hopefully I will, but genuinely being a part of that energy and that atmosphere, surrounded by other people who are loving it, talking about it online and to friends and things, it's so fulfilling and it really fills you with creative energy as well. It makes you want to sit down and get your projects done. The amount of work, I finished writing my podcast last year while I was listening to Epic, in the car, in the dark, typing away, finishing my final episode because I wanted to have it done by the end of 2023, because listening to Epic all of that year and seeing it come out and all the hard work paying off literally before our eyes, it really inspired me to just knuckle down and get the creativity going. So I'm genuinely grateful to Epic, if nothing else, for bringing us Epic itself, but also because of the creativity it sparked in me. Sometimes, and I'm sure loads of you guys can relate to this one, you are so creative and so full of ideas that you just feel a little bit burnt out, like someone snuffed your candle and you need to, rebuild it somehow. And genuinely a big way that I have always done that is whacking on some Epic and singing along. It really fills you full of emotion and power and creativity. So Epic the Musical has not just given me some fantastic tunes to sing along to, it's also given me some drive and the oomph to continue doing my own creative stuff again, which is genuinely just, really life-changing, because if I couldn't be creative, oh my god, what would be the point of me? Let's talk about that biggest part of Epic though. It is a musical, so let's talk about the music. One of the biggest things that drew me to this, apart from just seeing the sheer love and enjoyment and the passion for it in all of the TikToks they've ever shown, the really big thing that draws me to Epic is that it doesn't quite sound like all other musicals. It is different to a traditional musical, it's different to a lot of modern musicals, it's different to movie musicals and other concept albums I've heard. It's not completely so unique there's nothing like it, of course not, but it nonetheless takes a lot of inspiration from so many different places. One of the big things I keep reading about when I'm reading about interviews from Jorge is talking about video games and emotion and power and wanting to bring that kind of feeling to it, and that's definitely something you can get right from the start, all the way through. I'm a theatre kid, so I like stage acting the best, and it's so much bigger on a stage because you literally have to be, and Epic the Musical already feels like it fills a stage. All of the emotions, the care and attention that's been paid to the different instruments that mark each character, the melodies and harmonies they each have related to them and certain plot points of the story, the way they keep coming back through certain refrains over and over again. And while, again, that's not anything new to the world of musical theatre writing, but being able to do it consistently, it does keep you invested in the story, and the emotions are so high that every time it happens, it adds and heightens what you're already listening to and feeling. I am a huge fan of the characterization. Everyone in this was played to perfection. Every single voice fitted immediately. You don't just listen to Epic and go, this person's angry or this person's sad. No, you feel that. There is no filler. I do not feel like Epic has any filler at all. I feel like every song, every saga exists for a reason, and it drives the plot forward and it adds something to it. Every single song is beautifully written, beautifully performed, beautifully composed. Every single performer is giving their absolute best, and I particularly am a fan of the re-recordings we had to get of the original songs when they first came out, when we had to have them re-recorded. I think they heightened them, they got to add to them, the emotion, the power, the energy, everything was even bigger and better the second time around. So in a way, I think that's a win, really, that we got those a second time. My overall thoughts on Epic the Musical then are, I have wanted more ever since I first heard some of the first songs. I have delightedly devoured every single new saga every time it came out, stayed up real late to watch the live streams, would happily do it 1,000 times over, and cannot wait to see what they do next. Speaking of, what are my future hopes for Epic the Musical then?
I see a song of past romance. I see the sacrifice of man.
Well, obviously, I'm hoping that we live in a timeline where we get to see this on the stage. I would do just about anything to get involved in this show, or just go and watch it. I also think it would look great in animation. We've seen so many beautiful animated videos all the way through the sagas every time it gets released. We have the official ones that get released while they're dropping all of the sagas that you can watch with the live streams. We have people doing their own. It's absolutely gorgeous, stunning, and beautiful. All of them are amazing. So absolutely, this would suit animation. Think Prince of Egypt style, big sweeping musical told in animation. It would be absolutely incredible. And the world of animation is getting updated all the time. We've got shows like the Critical Role animated shows. We're getting the Mighty Nine one. Yes, Molly again. And we're also getting things like the Dragon Prince and the animated Lord of the Rings. Animation is really being kicked and vamped up, and I think this is about the right time where Epic the Musical could get in on that, and we absolutely could see an Epic the Musical animated movie, and it would suit the genre. It would go really, really well. Yeah, I think that would be a really great step forward. I also think that some of the video game inspiration could be a really interesting way to go with it. I would love to play a musical video game. I think the song should be in it somewhere. Possibly you could have the option to have them included or not, you know, turn them on or off or whatever. But I just imagine rocking up to a big Poseidon battle and then the music starts and the singing happens. We've got that wonderful, what is it called? It's a game where it's the, there's a million gruesome ways to die. So video games with songs in them are nothing new, and having villain songs in particular is amazing, even if you didn't have every song from the show. I think having pivotal moment songs could be absolutely fantastic, sprinkled through a video game. And plus, we've already seen some fantastic video game style footage of Odysseus with the windbag fighting Poseidon. I simply think we need more of that. So Epic, the musical, the video game, yes, please. I don't know if I'd want it to be a live action film. I think if it's going to go live action, I would rather see it on the stage and then have a pro shot, because I think the stage could just do so much more with it. I still think a pro shot would be absolutely fantastic and possibly one of the best ways to go with this. What would you guys like to see Epic the Musical turn into? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, now we've talked about what I thought, which was it's epic, and we've talked about where I would like it to go in the future, basically everywhere. Now we're going to do the extra fun bit, and we are going to do the rankings. I've currently got 3 ideas for different ranking tiers. If I think of more, I will add those in, but for now, let's do these. And we will start with the sagas. Why not? So this is your last chance to put your guesses in the comments down below. Which saga do you think is my favourite? And of course, let me know yours. What's your favourite saga? Let me know those in the comments down below as well. And hell, what are your top 5 songs? Top 3, top 10, top 1 songs? Whatever you want. Chuck those in the comments down below as well, and then we can compare and contrast, see if it matches my list in any way. And what else am I doing? Favourite song from each saga. If you want to do that as well, just tell me all your favourites. Tell me them all in the comments down below. And if you've never seen Epic or listened to it, let me know that as well. And let me know if you go and listen to Epic because of my video, and come back and tell me what you think in the next comment. Lock in your guesses now, because I'm about to tell you how I rank all of the sagas. Starting at number 9. And again, this isn't the bottom of the list. This isn't a saga I don't like. I love them all. There are just some that I love so very much, and some that I just love. So this is not a bottom. I do not hate this saga at all. I love them all. I cannot state this enough. But one of them has to be number 9, but it's number 9 in the top 10, if that makes any sense at all. Alright, it's the CIRCE Saga. I'm going to be honest, the only reason that the CIRCE Saga is at number 9 is because I can't sing along to all of the songs as well as I want to. I love Hermes' song. I will sing along to Wouldn't You Like a Taste of the Power all the time, happily. However, a lot of the rest of the CIRCE Saga is, well, Circe. And I adore her, love her voice, beautifully performed, amazing, fantastic. However, I had to pick one to be number 9, and the reason I chose this one is because there is basically only 1.5 songs I can sing along to, and the rest of the time I am listening. And I love listening. It sounds amazing, but I'm a theatre kid and I want to join in. And I cannot join in because she sings far too great. and so I had to put it at number 9. The saga I've put at number 8, or rather the saga I have hatched to put at number 8, because one of them had to be at number 8, is the CYCLOPS Saga. I think my main reason for putting the CYCLOPS Saga at number 8 is because the biggest thing I love about it is the characterization of Odysseus. And while it's fantastic, and as I said, I love hearing him plan and strategize and panic all the way through this saga, and seeing the hurt turn to anger and despair and all of these emotions we get to see him go through, we also get to see him go through these kind of emotions in other sagas, and in those sagas, as well as the Odysseus bits that I love the most, we also have other songs that I absolutely adore too, so they just edged out the CYCLOPS Saga, but it is still nonetheless amazing. Number 7. This one might surprise people. So number 7 is the Thunder Saga. Again, not because I don't like it, because something had to be at number 7. The reason for the Thunder Saga being here is pretty much the same reason as the CYCLOPS Saga being here. Everything I love about these sagas, I also love in other sagas, and the other sagas have extra things on top that just make me push them up the list because I love them even more. In this one, I love mutiny. I love that anger. I love how you can hear the fighting. You don't even need to hear swords clashing to know. You feel that fire. You feel the fight happening even without needing to see it. And of course we have Zeus just existing as the phenomenal creature that he is. So again, love this saga, but something had to be at number 7. What is number 6 then? Number 6 takes us all the way back to the beginning with the Troy Saga. Now this is such a fantastic out of the gate way to get people invested and interested and following this story. Straight out with The Horse and the Infant, a beautiful song that culminates in this huge big emotional thing and then dips straight into Just a Man, which is the song that got me to first listen to Epic. It's a song that got a bunch of my friends to first listen to Epic. It's a big part of the reason why so many people have heard of this musical, even if they don't know what it is. That song, Just a Man, it has been used by so many cosplayers. I know so many people who have it in their D&D character playlists. Again, even if they haven't listened to the musical, that song kills it, knocks it out of the park, and the entire saga just sets the scene. It tells you, bam, this is how we're telling the story, this is how the music is going to sound, this is how it's going to be emotional and huge and driven. Get on board, and by God you do. Number 5. The Ocean Saga. This is yet another saga that starts immediately straight in the action and pulls you back in again. To be fair, most of them do this, but this one always reminded me of the Troy Saga because of how it immediately grabs you with the music and puts you straight in the action. We start with storm and we are there. You are in a storm. The music somehow creates a storm in your head, in your world, and you are immediately right there. You feel the panic rising, you are there alongside them, and everything just fits and works. Everything is just crashing around you. The whole saga feels like water and the ocean. It has moments of calm and then moments of rage and chaos. And, you know, of course we have ruthlessness, which is just fucking epic. There are so many bangers in this show, and Ruthlessness is absolutely one of them. It's another one of the songs, much like Just a Man, that a lot of people have heard out of context of the musical, via TikTok, via Instagram, via just people singing it, and this is another one that people definitely know, even if they haven't heard of the show, don't know where it's from, they've definitely heard bits of Ruthlessness. Number 4, the Wisdom Saga, one of the recent ones. I, again, found myself completely falling in love with this saga as soon as we first heard the first song. We heard Telemachus for the first time singing for himself, and these hopes and these dreams of this poor kid who's grown up with legends of his father and trying to protect his mom, and he just wants to see his dad, but he also wants to live up to this legacy. And that whole song, I absolutely love it. I even love the La 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 Legendary, which apparently divided some people, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious, and it sounded just like something that you would do in your bedroom while you're singing about your dad. I want to be a La 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 Legendary. I'm down for it. Absolutely, why not? We then immediately go into Little Wolf, which I love, love, love. Not only does it start setting up a new villain for us, but it also shows us, again, what Telemachus is dealing with, what his life is like, the people who he is surrounding himself with, and that moment where he is trying to decide, should I stand up for myself? Should I try and fight? And instead of it being monsters of these myths and legend, it's a person. It's a guy he's standing up to, and him trying to find his courage and trying to be like his dad, be someone his dad would be proud of. It's absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking, and then we have Athena just being awesome. And of course the whole saga ends with God Games, which is just so incredible. Apollo is, was, and always will be my favourite. I cosplayed him immediately after this song came out. Very happy with Apollo in this. I love all of them. They all sound distinct and different. You know exactly which god they are. And that's, again, another thing that's been really important through Epic. You can tell all the characters apart, and you can hear them very, very clearly. You know who they are, what they're talking about. Absolutely beautifully done all the time. So, yep, the Wisdom Saga very happily taking place number 4. What then is number 3? The Vengeance Saga. The reason I love this one in particular is that characterization we get with Odysseus, and we have so much of it. We see him in so many different scenarios, so many emotions through this. We hear him with Calypso after he's just been emotionally broken down, and he's finally learned that he can leave. But he still gives her this hint of understanding, and he tries to give her some hope and some peace and some kindness as he gets away from her. And the fact that he's able to do that is a really beautiful side to his character, which, considering that he has turned into a monster at this point in the story, it's really beautiful and very important that he can do that. We then have another fantastic look at Odysseus through Dangerous. And we have our Hermes back again. Always love a Hermes song, absolutely incredible. A big part of the reason this song is so brilliant is the animations people make to go along with it. Just seeing Odysseus fighting his way through all of this stuff while Hermes is just twerking and singing. Absolutely hilarious. We also get the Wind Bag back again, which is of course another very important song. And that comes back in 600 Strike, which was not a song I'd really thought about. I hadn't looked at it on the wiki too much. I think we'd all been a bit distracted with Get in the Water. I remember listening to Get in the Water and it was so great, so grand. It was another thing like ruthlessness that made you just want to belt it out as you scream and run along or drive or run really fast or fight someone. But then the Vengeance Saga continued. And I was thinking, how on earth could we top this? That was the pinnacle, that was the peak of the Vengeance Saga. And then we got 600 Strike, and it just kept getting even better. Love this song, everything it stands for, the culmination, the build-up, the anger, the sorrow, the grief, the hurt, everything coming piling back, and then that final slam of Next to My Wife. And you know we're about to go straight into the Ithaca Saga, that's what we're getting next, and it's just, mwah, chef's kiss beautiful. So, yep, Vengeance Saga, very happily taking number 3. Number 2, the Underworld Saga. I enjoyed every second of this saga. It's only 3 songs long, and all 3 of them are so incredible. I've only managed to do a music video for one of them so far, which was No Longer You. I will pop that up the top somewhere, so you can go and watch that if you want. Go see me as the prophet. Whoop! That was incredible because as soon as I heard that song, I could immediately picture what I wanted a music video to look like, and thankfully, I was able to create a cave inside my house. That was a time. There's also behind the scenes of that video if you want to go and watch that. But there is also the emotion, the depth, the drive, all the things I've said I loved about so many other Odysseus moments, so heightened in here. We get to see him knocked down. We see his heart breaking over his mum. We hear him singing and calling out to her, and there is nothing he can do. We hear him broken down again as he's getting full of hope to go and talk to the prophet, and then misunderstanding what he's saying and going, someone, a dangerous person is next to my wife. Who? Who is it? Who? Obviously that owl moment, hilarious. But it's so raw and full of this emotion that we have been getting from Odysseus the whole way through, but at this point he is breaking. He has been breaking and breaking down the whole time, but this is the culmination, and then we get Monster. And Monster is where he turns, he snaps, he has his big moment of going, fuck it, essentially. I have tried to be good, I have tried to be kind, I have tried to have less ruthlessness than everyone in the world is telling me to have. I have tried so hard, and all it has got me is dead friends and this prophet telling me that I'm not gonna get home to my wife. Fuck it, I will become the monster. And that song is just so incredible. Alright, so the Underworld Saga very happily and easily took the number 2 spot, but what is number 1? The Ithaca Saga. Now, I did sit down with myself for a moment and say, is it simply the novelty because it's the newest one? You know, it's the one we haven't listened to the most. Are we still, you know, in the hype of, oh, we've just listened to it? And I sat down and I really thought about it. And I went, no. Much like my reason for putting the Underworld Saga at number 2, the reason is because every single one of these songs is so powerful and so important, and while, as I said, there are no skips in this entire thing, this, again, the Ithaca Saga is another example of I would not even skip this if I was just listening to the songs I love the most, because all of these songs are songs I love the most. This was another one that was really tricky to pick a favourite from, but I do have one. Only just, but I do have one. And hint, hint, for the list I do later of the top 10, a lot of the top 10 comes from the Ithaca Saga. Once again, we get huge moments with Odysseus. We get his monster coming back, that rage, him starting gravelly and low, and then building and building in this huge fight and the bloodshed. We get Penelope, who we have heard before, but this time she gets her own complete song where we hear her point of view. Much like we heard Telemachus in Legendary, in this one we hear her plans, her hopes, her sorrow, but her still holding on to that. I believe you are coming home to me. I'm not going to let any of this happen. I am holding down the fort, literally barricading my doors. I'm having to lie and scheme and be clever and cunning and probably all the things that Odysseus loved about her to begin with. But she's having to do all of this work simply to bide the time and give him time to get back. And she sees the storm and she has this moment of, oh my God, could it be? Absolutely beautiful song. And of course we have Hold Them Down. Now this is another villain song and it is written beautifully. There is not a shred of doubt at any point through this entire song that we are listening to a villain song. A villain gathering their army of other villains and people who are turning villainous even if they didn't start off that way. This is a group of people who have turned in the worst way possible for the worst of reasons. They are turning not just on their queen and their rulers, they are turning on all sense of morality and rightness. They are turning into this rabid pack of gruesome, horrible people. It adds to Penelope's song her conviction, and it adds all of the reasons to why Odysseus does what he does next. And this time it is called Odysseus because he is the monster. But at this moment, he's not. He's the monster to these people he's fighting, but really and truly, this is not a monster moment for me when I'm listening to it. This is vengeance. This is completely justified actions. And then you hear one of them die and you're thinking, oh, Odysseus is back, awesome. But you hear that refrain, that legendary refrain, do 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 do, and it's like, wait a second, this isn't Odysseus, and it's Telemachus coming out, and it's Telemachus with Athena, and you're just going, yes, this is incredible. And that's Telemachus' moment, his shining moment, which stands in both opposition and a parallel to his father earlier on in the same song, where Odysseus said, I have had enough, and where he said, you think I don't know my own palace? I built it. And it shows just how much power and strength they both have now. Odysseus, because of his years and years of having strength and courage, and also his conviction and resolution, he has made it home and he is going to kill the lot of you now for what you have done. And his son, because of, you know, he is his father's son, but also he is with Athena now, and he has all of this power and he can fight, and the two of them, absolutely stunning. Love that song. And then we have the father and son bonding for the first time, the first look, the first sight of each other, the first words to each other, and oh my God, I was a blubbering mess from the first time they released this, and cried, instant tears. It was beautiful, it was moving, it was stunning, it was amazing. Their voices complement each other so well. They sound like father and son. They correlate, they match. It's so beautiful and so sad and happy and heartwarming and hopeful. And then we have Athena coming back for her last moment, and that's hopeful as well. And then the entire saga finishes with one of the most beautiful songs I have ever heard in my entire life, Would You Fall in Love With Me Again? And it's Odysseus and Penelope and all of that emotion. And we don't just get romance in this song. We get confusion. We get a little bit of anger too. It's so much variety that you're not quite expecting when you go into this big romantic sweeping moment. You have Odysseus's breath at the beginning, which just, shivers every time. And then they meet and she can't quite believe it's true. And he can't quite believe it's true. And he's trying to immediately apologize and say, like, I'm not the person you knew. I'm sorry. I've changed. Can you love me? Could you possibly love this new me? And she's, saying, well, do you remember this? The wedding bed, do you remember this? And he's saying, well, yeah, of course. And he gets angry at the idea that she wants him to cut down the tree. And she's like, well, then it's you. Stop telling me you're a different person. You remember all this stuff. You are the man I fell in love with. And I will continue to fall in love with you over and over and over again. And the very last words of the entire saga are, I love you. Perfect, beautiful, have no notes. Yes, 1000% the Ithaca Saga is my favourite one. I love all of them, but the Ithaca Saga is going to clinch it at the top because, my God, it's just sheer perfection. I am going to save my top 10 favourite songs for last, and now I'm going to very quickly do my favourite songs from every saga. Let me know yours in the comments down below and see if you can guess mine. Starting at the top, what is my favourite song from the Troy Saga? Just a Man. This song is, again, the reason I started listening to Epic in the first place. It has so much emotional weight. It is beautifully written, beautifully performed. You feel every single second of this song. It is absolutely haunting and delicate and crushing, and it's a perfect way to get people interested in this show. If you're going to play them one song to try and lure them in, this is the one to do it with. Moving on then, and what is my favourite song from the CYCLOPS Saga? This one was very easy, and it is Remember Them. It's another huge, big moment of Odysseus. Hint, hint, there's going to be a lot of this coming up. I really love how he turns, and he says, remember them. He's got to focus. He's trying to get everyone else out. He can't let anyone else die. He's fighting all these things internally and externally, all at the same time. He's trying to strategize and make plans, but also say, we fight to remember them. This song is taking all of that grief that's being felt and turning it into something you can use. Use that grief, use it to save your own life and get out. Remember them. They won't have died for nothing. They will die to get us out, and they will die because we will avenge them. And it's just fucking beautiful. The Ocean Saga. And this one again is probably fairly obvious. I have chosen the song that I think a lot of you will probably choose as well, and it is Ruthlessness. I said it before, it's a banger. It's fantastic. It is so sing-alongable. It's just brilliant. Love this song, love it to death, love everything about it. It's absolutely fantastic. Fills you with so much. I listen to this at the gym quite a lot. So yeah, absolutely, it has to be Ruthlessness. Next up is the CIRCE Saga, and my favourite song from the CIRCE Saga is Wouldn't You Like. I am unashamedly a huge Hermes fan, definitely relate to this character quite a lot, and Wouldn't You Like is just so damn catchy, and I love the way it moves the story forward, and the whole, like, don't thank me friend, you very well may die. It's just hilarious, funny, snappy, really upbeat as well, which we don't get a lot of the time in this musical because there is so much drama happening, but it still manages to be a big, sweeping and dramatic song. It just has that upbeat moment because Hermes is just being, well, Hermes. Next up is the Underworld Saga, and this one, I'm still not sure if I've chosen the correct one. I wish I could say all three of them because genuinely it is like, it's changing all the time. It is so close. But I have ultimately had to go with another Odysseus moment, and that is Monster. It is a huge, huge song for Odysseus' character. He has so many defining moments, but this is a massive one of them. It shows you so much of how he's thinking and feeling, and the decision that he comes to at the end is heart-wrenching, but he takes you on that journey, and you agree and you understand, you know why he's deciding to harden his heart, and it really drives all of his later actions. You can see it all relating back to this switch in the song Monster. I will become the monster. It's essentially his fuck it, I will be the bad guy song because that's what I have to be to get home. And I just love it. But I also love the other two just as much. Next up, the Thunder Saga. And this choice might surprise you. So my favourite song from the Thunder Saga is Mutiny. And it is all because of the fact that I'm a theatre kid. I love this fight song. I love hearing the reasoning and the rationale behind both of them. I love hearing singing arguments. I love how you can immediately tell when they start fighting. I love hearing them chanting in the background and how slowly they sort of become more on Odysseus' side and then go back and forth and back and forth. I love hearing the stab and then he wakes up and their big, huge chat about the cows and how they don't understand and they're hungry and you can understand it, but Odysseus is saying, no, 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 don't. And then that impact of, we've got to get away, and suddenly they're all calling him captain again and looking to him to captain, and he doesn't question it. He just takes them with him immediately. He tries to save all of them despite everything that's just happened. He is still immediately, I'm their captain, I will save them all, and he tries to get them as far away as possible, but then at the last minute it doesn't work. So yeah, this song, huge banger, drives the story forward in so many ways. So much happens in this song. Love the Odysseus moments, but most of all, I love the big theatre kid style fights. Love it. The Wisdom Saga. And once again, I don't think my favourite song is going to be hard to guess because I think it's a lot of people's favourite song from the Wisdom Saga, and that is, of course, God Games. we get to hear Apollo. I mean, I couldn't not pick this one. It's just a fantastic song. We get to hear so many different characters. As I said before, they're all characterized and performed so well. It's just brilliant. I love how we see that Athena changes her tack a little bit with each person and twists it accordingly. Really, of course, love her never once as he cheated on his wife, stop the show moment. So it's funny, it's big, it's powerful, it's dramatic, and we get to see all the different gods, and we get Apollo. Of course, God Games is the winner in this one. Next up, we have the Vengeance Saga. And again, I'm not sure if this one's going to be everyone's pick, but it's definitely mine. My favorite song from the Vengeance Saga is 600 Strike. This one I love, again, because it is a huge Odysseus moment. I did warn you this would be driving a lot of my decisions, but also, again, that theatre kid in me, I love the imagery that this immediately conjures up, the music, the instrumentals, the fight. Love a good fight song, as I said with Mutiny. Love a fight song where you can hear and feel the fighting swell, and that huge final pivotal moment of next to my wife. Beautiful. And last up, we have the Ithaca Saga. This one took a while as well because I love all of these songs so much, but I have come to a decision. My favourite song from the Ithaca Saga is, of course, the beautiful, the wonderful, the tears come at once to my eyes every time I even start to listen to it. I Can't Help But Wonder. I very nearly picked Would You Fall in Love With Me Again. It was a very close run thing, but for me, the sweeping romantic song, beautiful as it was just beaten out by the father reuniting with his long lost son. I love all of these songs so very much, but if I had to pick one from this saga, I would pick father and son reuniting in I Can't Help But Wonder. And to close out this video then, I am going to give you a countdown of the top 10 songs, my top 10 songs from Epic the Musical. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below, and what is your top 10, or just your top 3, or just your top 1. It's very tricky to choose, so let me know what you think. Alright, starting off at number 10. Number 10 is Remember Them. Number 9, God Games. Number 8, Mutiny. Number 7, No Longer You. Number 6 is Ruthlessness. Number 5 is Just a Man. Number 4 is Monster. Number 3 is a very similar song for very similar reasons, Odysseus. Number 2, and we're sticking with the Ithaca Saga for the rest of this list. Number 2 is very easily Would You Fall in Love With Me Again. My number 1 song is, of course, sticking with the Ithaca Saga, I Can't Help But Wonder. I cry every time I listen to this song. I really, really do. I filmed TikToks doing Odysseus during this song, and it took so many attempts because I simply kept crying through it. It is so emotional, so powerful, a huge gut punch to the heart of all the best feelings possible. It's another huge moment you've been waiting and waiting for this whole time. We've heard Telemachus singing, but never has he been in the same room as his father. Much like with Penelope and Odysseus in Would You Fall in Love With Me Again, it is the first time hearing these two voices and they're singing to each other. They are in the same space, and it gives you all the beautiful and heartbroken feelings of finally we're here. And Telemachus says, I've dreamed about it, and now it's here, and I don't even know what to say. And that is so unbelievably relatable, because how many times do you big something up in your head, or you look forward to something, or you think, I'm gonna do this thing, and then it happens, and you're sort of starstruck at the thing that you're doing, even if it's not a person you're seeing, it's just the thing that you're doing, and you have that moment of, I have forgotten everything I ever planned or dreamed. I don't even know how to cope with this now because I've been working towards it or waiting for it for so long. And then Odysseus comes in and is singing, you've grown. I can't believe how long it's been. And he starts telling him about these stories he had when he was a kid. I said I would make the storm clouds cry, and I would catch wind and sky for you. And it's all these little sprinkling hints of things that he has done on his journey to get back to his son. He did make the storm clouds cry. He did capture wind and sky. He did all the stuff he said he would do. And again, much like in Penelope and Odysseus' song, in this song you have that swelling emotional beat where you can hear them run to each other. You can practically hear the embrace of father and son, and it's just so beautiful it hurts. I think that's the best way I can describe that song, and to be honest, the whole of Epic the Musical. So let's wrap up this video by saying that then. If you have not listened to Epic the Musical yet, please go and do so, because it will probably make you cry and almost definitely change your life. If you have been listening to Epic much like me, tell me all your favourite things, let me know in the comments down below. And the last thing I will say is that this show will break your heart, but in the most beautiful possible way. Not just because of how beautifully it has been written and composed and sung and performed, but because the story itself is just stunning. This take on this Odyssey, this great tale, it has had so much passion and love poured into it, and it all comes pouring straight back out when you listen to it. Could not praise this musical enough. Hope to all the gods that we get to see this on the stage and or in some sort of other medium soon. I would do pretty much anything to be involved or just watch it happen. I love you all. I will see you in 2025. Be good to each other, and goodbye. Also, fun fact, I made myself a Telemachus so I could film music videos with him, and he's kind of warm, he's been on the radiator. So this is how it ends up looking. If you move the cloak to here and put mine over here, it looks like his arm is going under mine, and then you can hold him and do things like Telemachus. And it's so emotional and sad, and you don't have another person with you because I don't know anyone who lives close enough to come at midnight and film things with me, because that would be mean. But to shatter your illusions right now, this is my son. If you don't want the illusion to be shattered, look away right now. 3, 2, 1. Telemachus is made of towels. Towels and masking tape. So the bottom half of him is made of a sewing mannequin, and then he's wrapped in towels to make the sort of shape. So the bottom half is an old piece of a mannequin, and then this bit's all made of towels, which I've smushed into the shape of shoulders. This one's smushed into the shape of a head. Masking tape to keep it all together. Chucked a wig on, and then because of where the hood sits and the hair sits, and then where the cloak falls, when you put him like this, he looks like he is Telemachus, hugging in, just down here. His arm's there. There we go. So, yeah, just adding in that I made a Telemachus, and I'm very happy about it because I meant I could do cute videos and a cute photo shoot where I got to be really sad and emotional. So, yeah, enjoy that, and I'm off to cuddle Telemachus because I'm going to listen to the Epic Saga again. It makes me sad. I love you all. Bye!
Oh, my son, look how much you've grown. Oh, my boy, sweetest joy I've known. 20 years ago I held you in my arms, how time has flown. Oh. Used to say it'd make the storm clouds cry for you. Used to say it'd capture wind and sky for you. Held you in my arms, prepared to die for you. Oh, how time has flown. I can only wonder what your world has been, things you've had to suffer, and the strength you hold within. All I've ever wanted was to reunite with my own. 20 years we've wandered, but today you're not alone. My son, I'm finally home.